All right, what's going on, everybody? Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, June 26th. Your co-founder and CEO of Metafide, Frank Speiser, here with Big Worm, Serge Satora, and our trusty mod, Roman Crypto. I would say where is everybody, but I think I know where they are. Worm, they're all still playing. What's up, Dilly? And Doge, how's it going, buddy?
Playing the
I
game, man.
think,
They're playing the game,
yeah, they're
Frank.
playing the game. I'm looking at them in the game right now. They're still playing the game like a bunch of degenerates. like it's there's everybody that would be here is over there testing the game right now. So uh, that's a good sign, I guess. Like
That's really good.
I I can live with the loneliness over here for a little while, but yeah.
I,
So
I think that means the game works, Frank.
yeah, yeah. Matt's in he's in New York City right now at permissionless, and he's getting mobbed by everyone. And Matt's super recognizable, right? So everybody can see him coming from a mile away. Aside from being, he's jacked right now. Matt weighs about 225. He's ripped, and he's walking around with rock star hair like he's in an '80s band. So you could see Matt coming. Matt and then he's just dealing with people trying trying to get in on the round that we just wrapped up, which is great. Like I appreciate it. Um, Pretty happy about that. Really happy about the way people are reacting to the game, though. Like I think it's pretty gratifying to consider. You know, I know you remember this. We went locked ourselves in a poker room in Charleston for 3 days. You know, and started planning this out from some sketches that I had, and then we all sat around and cooked up. What we think would make for a great game, and now it's pretty cool to see that people agree, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. It is crazy that yeah, we locked ourselves in a room. These were literally drawings on a piece of paper, and it was a sort of singular mission. Create a really exciting game with exciting pots and get a fanatical community behind it. And here it is kind of manifesting itself. Well, not manifesting itself. I'd say we worked really hard at making sure we stayed true to that.
Yeah,
And here it is. It's actually happening.
yeah, yeah. Just like we drew it up. just
Just like it. No bumps
nah,
along the way, no
no that
learning, no
no
iterations.
that's that no. You're right. It's been like we worked really hard at this actually. So it's not surprising considering the amount of effort that we put into it and the humility that was required to be like, all right, listen, like we're gonna listen, we're gonna keep tweaking, getting this right, figuring this out. But what we have now, where we're sitting here, is we have Spot sitting here ready to launch to the world. We're just tuning up the desktop version now. We'll be including tests in that. I guess that's some alpha for everybody that will listen later and everybody here. And we have the range game that's already getting coded up right now. So uh, we have these components of the platform we built. We've got a really great set of tokenomics ready to go, and yeah, just looking at what sort of the way the way we've structured this, where we didn't sell out the community, we didn't take the easy way. It's really just I'm grateful and satisfied that we got to this point by doing the right thing, right? So that's
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's not just like the game, right? But everything around, making sure that the community is rewarded along the way. And that speaks to this great invite system that goes along it. The spot and range, it's kind of getting all the sexy marquee spotlight, but there's all this other great stuff that's going along with it in terms of sort of one of a kind invite system where you'll also get rewarded. You mentioned the token. There's there's going to be an AI agent that's going along with it that you kind of teased a little bit that will kind of give the sort of the feeling of having a pit boss there with you, like you're working on a trading desk, and can take on other personalities. These are all other cool things that we dreamt up, and they're all coming. And not only do we have our fanatical community, but now that we didn't even dream of this other partnership with this other great fanatical community in Doge.
Right.
So there's so much to be excited about, right?
Yeah, which reminds me, thanks for keeping me on topic here.
Yes,
Today's
segue.
topic is memes and partnerships, and in looking at sort of the way things spread and the way people communicate in this community, and in general, just on social media and like in the younger generation of the world, like memes are great because they they help convey a bunch of meaning in a compact format that draws on some way to access a bunch of context behind it, but you don't have to carry it with everything. So it's like object oriented communication, right? Where you're building on the set of things underneath of it and being able to tap into those tools, and I think it's a great way to look at sort of the way we're just thinking about building the financial framework too. Like, so teaching people to access parts of the financial system in like a mimetic way, and the way you build the products together to draw on the experience, to do an object oriented approach to accessing the markets with the assistance of AI guided tools is kind of right up our alley. Um, Actually, I don't know if you've ever heard. You know what the field of semiotics is?
No, I don't.
Yeah. So semiotics is like a way to package up meaning uh, through like a series of like linguistic contexts, and it was invented by, or one of the inventors of the branch of philosophy is a guy named Charles Sanders Peirce, Peirce, and he, uh, he came up with this concept of being able to imply things that conveyed meaning to people without the full detail. It's essentially, if you want to look at the historical context of memes, Charles Sanders Peirce was like the first meme guy, like so. And I named the early AI systems at Social Flow Sanders after him. The ability to like basically classify and draw context from things. And to give you an example, right? Um, if I say the word dog, right? Because we got our buddies at Doge here, right? Like if I say dog, what are you thinking of? I have probably an idea of what you're thinking of, but what are you thinking of? Describe it.
I think a furry little cute animal that is sitting up, pants in its tongue, and wants a treat or wants to go for a walk.
What color is your dog?
Mine is, well, white.
Right, puffy white hair.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. What's up, Coco?
yeah.
Um,
Coco's my
yeah.
white puppy
So
dog.
so
Yeah,
I'm thinking of a chocolate lab with that
yeah.
weighs about 70 pounds and super friendly like that. But if I showed you a picture of my dog and you showed me a picture of your dog, we could both agree just instantly that's a dog, right?
Mhm.
And understanding sort of what the edges of those things are. Well, they both have four legs, they both kind of move around similarly. Like, there's enough shared meaning in those things that thing that makes our brain do that, that's mimetic thinking, right?
Mm.
And that's the concept of semiotics, is that, right? It's the
Yep.
sight, sound, smell of the linguistic package of what that is, even though they're not very similar. If you sat Coco next to Brown Dog, right, they'd be different enough, but we both thought those are both dogs, right?
Yep.
So that's the way the community speaks, and that's the way that I think we should build the products as they feed into one another, and that's the way that the community should interface with one another, is that concept of, does it further the set of objects that you've built when you apply it to a new context? So when you add a new partnership to the mix, does it add like that? That's why adding up with the Doge community was so it was such a no brainer when we sat back and looked at it. Like, how much compounded value could you get from and give to them, right? Like us plus them and them plus us. Like, what what does that look like? So, um, yeah. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I mean, we throw around that term win-win, and that's like one of those things. Like, I can't stand when people take things like the term like amazing and gaslighting or whatever, and they overuse it or they misuse it. But one of the ones that falls in that category is the term win-win, because not everything can always be a win-win, right? It's hard to, especially when you come into a compromise. Someone loses out, even if it's 51% to 49%, right?
Well, that's
But
if it's a sort of a zero sum approach
yeah,
or like an antagonistic market, right?
right, right,
But you could bring a hammer, I could bring some nails, and somebody else could bring some boards, and we could all build a house for people, right? Like
right.
that's probably a win-win, right?
That's a true
So
win-win. So, but what I'm saying is that it's so misused, right? But in the case of us and Doge, it is a win-win, right? And everything that you're saying in terms of how, we're helping them build something in their new ecosystem, which is fabulous. And we're building out this great, app and ability for people to come and participate in markets, which is also great. And then we both win. We both win building
yeah,
this awesome, great thing. And so it is truly a win-win. And it's almost like that the idea of a win-win should hold its value and not be devalued by other people just by calling everyone else calls things that aren't win-wins win-wins. This is a true one.
yeah. So let's talk about this for a minute, right? So this might be one of the last Thursday spaces that you join us for, right? Um,
Yeah.
it's a sad day on the X spaces here
Yeah, didn't
for
really want to talk about it, but
for the
okay.
for,
Yeah.
that's all right, man. Um, what do you want to see crypto do over the next year? Like what do you want to see happen?
Um, I want to see it be um more accessible, um, more more people that are kind of in the mainstream want to innovate in it. Just as I see people all of a sudden, everyone wants to do AI transformation. I think there should be that much, if not more, excitement in what's happening in blockchain and Web3. So I'd like to see that second wave come in and stop with the whole, hey, don't tell anybody that you're in crypto, it's taboo. Like, it should not be taboo. This is something that's going to create pathways and barriers for people in ways a lot of us can't imagine. This group can, but a lot of people cannot. So I like to see that start to happen in the next year. I know it's going to take a while for these changes to happen, but I think if we can get more of that next part of the herd to run in and start innovating, that would be great to see.
It's not a surprise to me that the smart contract side of crypto is looked at as an issue to be dealt with by a lot of these people because it solves the thing that they want, right? Like they the reason why people want control over something is so that they can bend the rules the way they want, maybe at the expense of other things. And they'll have a say so in the outcome and they'll be the arbiter of what succeeds and what doesn't. And that's exactly the wrong thing in the world right now, where you're basically getting permission to operate a certain way. And and I think, what we're trying to bring about is a way to set up the transfer of money with and transfer of economic value on terms that you can standardize and put into contracts so that are triggered by verifiable events that then cascade through a bunch of ways people find ways to chain value together, right? So what you're saying is, well, no, you shouldn't be making those calls because it should just be if it happens and it's verifiable, then you can trigger any number of these things that are on the other end of the contract. And I think what people are hearing and internalizing is like, oh wait, so you're going to take away my ability to call winners and losers? And the answer is yes.
Right.
That's the point, right?
Right.
Like that's the whole point of this stuff, fella. So
Yeah.
you can't turn around and say what money's worth without the people agreeing. And you can't turn around and shift the rules of a contract around on interpretation if it's right there in the contract. Because math don't lie, right?
That's right. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
What I'd like to see is us to get further down the road of building financial products and just ways to transact that happen according to smart contract rules. And I really want to see the Web3 community get better at constructing these contracts, because a lot of it's been sloppy, and people have been able to find loopholes to sell tokens they shouldn't be able to, or put them at risk in ways they shouldn't be able to. And it's getting chalked up to as a crypto problem. That's really a people problem, which
Mhm.
is like a human nature thing that crypto is meant to solve for. Like the idea is you shouldn't have the option to do it if it's in a smart contract. It should just be according to the rules of the contract. And then the responsibility is just like if they're not your keys, your crypto. Like if they're not your terms, it's not the contract really that you maybe intended. It's the one you wrote. So we need to
Mhm.
get better at crafting these agreements. And I think that's going to take a while for people to understand. Like, oh, I have to. We were just talking about this today about the robotics AI problem where somebody says, "Build me a peanut butter sandwich," and you wound up like smearing it all over your arm or something, like because you're trying
Yep.
to literally follow the directions that you didn't craft well, right? And so it's kind of the danger in this whole thing is, you got to pay attention to the details here, and we really got to get serious about the details that we want to implement. So I'd
Mhm.
like to see us get more focused on that kind of stuff too. And additionally, just stop rugging people, you idiots. Like stop it, right? Like
Right.
you got to stop doing that. Like
Yep.
it's not helping anybody, and you're going to get caught and you're going to jail, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
don't
What do you
do
think
don't
needs
do
to
that.
happen, right? Because it does seem like all this resources and all this capital that's spent on like these schemes, right, to rug people. If you take even 10% of that effort that we're seeing in the market and put into what you're saying, like you so much progress and so much innovation can be made. What do you think would be the catalyst to kind of switch the tide so that people start working on better contracts and working more on what I'm calling design, right? Which is, I
Mhm.
was at an AI call the other day for another network I'm part of, and they said, everyone's thinking about AI in terms of, mobilizing, just like we did RPA, but AI should be thought more around, should be a chief designer, right? Because the true power of AI is like how you design it, not how you run it, right? And this is very similar, right, Frank? Like in terms of how you design the contracts. So put more thought and innovation into that. What do you think the catalyst needs to happen so that people kind of get it,
I think it's a two-part thing. I mean, more than two parts, but two main ingredients of that are founders need to stop chasing money to just play around with, right? Like you need to have a real idea with real value that serves customers the right way. So founders need to think about ways to make life better for their customers and users, and take that seriously. And then as a corollary to that, VCs need to stop investing in bullshit. Like
Mm,
right now, the system is set up so that VCs, not all of them, right? Like that's, but what I'm saying is there's funding that's going into projects with the intent of, can these people pump a token enough for me to dump it on the retail market when they come in? Like that's what a lot of these investments are. They don't even look at the equity value of the business. Some of these deals, they don't care. They just know how much of your token can I get, and then when can I dump it before retail? Like, and
hmm.
that's the way that that's not the way they're phrasing it, but that's what their contracts mean, right? And
Yeah.
when you look at it, we said no to all that nonsense. So we were like, we said we're not going to do that, and we took the hard route. But it was, it would have killed most startups to go through what we went through, right? So,
Mhm.
and I'm not just patting ourselves on the back like that, which we deserve, but
Yeah.
it's not fair to put people through that if they're trying to do something that builds lasting value. Like you're not a real investor if you're an opportunist, if you're trying to flip tokens on retail, because that's eventually going to dry up. You're going to burn people enough times, and they're just going to stop doing it.
Hmm.
And I think that needs to happen. That needs to stop. Founders need to get serious about solving problems, and VCs need to get serious about investing for lasting value and not investing in stupid projects. And founders need to stop taking money with the expectation that they're going to just let the VCs roll them over, you know, and pound them out and clap their cheeks. Like I don't think that's like a good idea for anybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the retail market's just going to get sick of having the rug being pulled out of them too, and they're just going to be like, "Listen, I'm not going to." There's only so many degens out there, right? And so much money, right? They're going to start to cling to projects to say, "Hey, this is actually a real winner," and the other ones just keep falling down, but this one, whenever the smoke clears, is still there. So
Yeah.
it might be a little bit of Darwin's theory here, or survival.
Well, there's definitely some retail investors that are really smart, right? And they're like, okay, this is going to make it through. This is going to be something I can stick with. And it just takes a lot of discipline to not jump at things where it's like, oh, I can 10,000x that on the first day if I just get in and flip it, because it's still a crapshoot, right? Like you still don't know what the terms are on the other side of that. You don't know if you're wading into a trap. So I think that's part of it. So
Yeah.
in general, I think we're kind of working around that, right? So,
Yeah.
um, what do you? I mean, do you think that that's what need like? I think that needs to happen. What do you think? Anything else besides?
I think you got it. I think you got us. For me, it's like, I always, coming from, so one of my previous lives, I think we talked about a couple of my previous lives on these calls, but one of them was NBC. And it was very interesting that one of the, I think it was Tom Brokaw, he used to be the anchor at Nightly News. He always said, like, if you want to know the heart of a story, follow the money.
Mhm.
Think about it, right? You want to know what's causing something, follow the money. Conflict in the Middle East, just follow the money. See where the money's being thrown at. And when you think about kind of like what needs to happen here, I think it's the same thing. Kind of follow the money and where's the money coming from, and you hit it on. Like the VCs are funding the founders that are, you know, doing things for quick rich, quick get rich quick schemes.
Quick
Uh,
touch, get rich quick. Quick.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, tongue twisting myself. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And then the retail folks are losing their money, so it's like I think they're going to realize like, hey, I'm tired of my money just flying out of my pocket. There's some better stuff out there where I can preserve my wealth and build my wealth. So those are the patterns that need to happen so that the right investment can get into the right vehicles and the right innovation can happen.
Yeah. When you
All the
see the
money.
way that technology progresses, right? Like like there's depending on how much it's needed, it sort of makes its way out into the general public, gets adopted, then becomes better. In 1903, the Wright brothers flew a plane in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, right?
Mhm.
11 years later, or yeah, yeah, 11 years later, they're dropping, chemicals on people in World War One from biplanes, right?
Mhm.
Like you go forward 30 years from there, and they're flying people, previously on hot air balloons, and now they're flying them in airplanes like over the Atlantic Ocean on something that used to take months to do, and then 20 years from there, they're they're blasting people into outer space. So like flight worked a certain way. Alexander Graham Bell makes telephone. Rotary phone comes out. People start connecting things, dial tones, cell phones, like all these communications networks get built up. And 2009, the iPhone comes out. That wasn't that long ago. But once the iPhone comes out, like social media explodes. You can get things from your head to someone else's head, somewhere else on the other side of the planet, right away. Like sine waves collapse. Like it's like a collapsing sine wave function. Like things get faster and faster and compound and branch out and connect other technologies in. And if you look at like the DARPA and the internet, in 1970 something, they start connecting computers together. I mean, we got our first email addresses in '94 when we went to college. Is that right? I
Yeah,
don't
I had
I don't mean to
one.
imply how young you are, Serge, but yeah,
No,
that's
I think I had my first. I had a Prodigy account. Remember Prodigy?
yeah. No, I
And
mean, but
yeah,
yeah, right,
yeah, that was my first ever email. But that was honestly, it was only like a couple years before that. But yeah, my first official email address was 94 and at BU. Yeah.
right. Yeah. So I remember when they came out. and then built a website like a year later, and then next thing you know, like you're building apps and like all these things that connect things together, and it just crypto is following that pattern
Hmm.
where it's just faster because it seems like it's taken forever. Like 2009, I think the Bitcoin white paper comes out, and then you get you sort of see the thing start to develop. It becomes a valid asset, but it's right now it's the protocol level. It's like saying we invented you know, TCP/IP. Like
Hmm.
no one walks up to each other and be like, "Yo, man, what do you think of TCP/IP today?" Right? Like you
Hmm.
just use it because everything's riding on top of that. It wasn't until like Bitcoin as a network, nobody cares about aside from can you trust it. The application of an asset, the Bitcoin token, and then it's storing value from the real world back in it. Like that makes sense to people, but we have just started. I would just argue until recently, people didn't start taking Web3 crypto apps seriously to the point where they're like, oh, that's what we need to be doing. We need to make use of these protocols to build useful things for people. Like, for instance, why can't I show up at the doctor's office and sign a transaction that has all my paperwork and everything there into something that is cryptographically secured? Why do I have to sit down in every doctor's office and fill out the same paperwork every time I show up? Right? Like, why am I doing that? I should be able to walk up to a house that says for sale and tap my phone and sign in with a cryptographic wallet, and it should be able to check my credit, figure out if I can afford it, set up the payments, the mortgage, like everything like that, and put it in terms that can be transferred to me. And if I want to accept them, I should be able to do it. It shouldn't take months to do that, and crypto is a great way to solve for that, right? But that's not there. I should be able to go into Boston, the city I love, right, and get a parking. I should be able to rent a parking space from somebody for a day, and they should be able to deed it to me so that it's mine while I'm there by transferring the temporary ownership to me, for, like while I'm there, right? Like all those things should exist. And if anybody's ever been to Boston, parking is a problem. So,
Hmm.
like, you should be able to rent a boat slip. You should be able to do all these things that just now people are like, oh yeah, like we should be able to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
one of our
Borrow my
lead
truck.
investor,
Yeah.
yeah, our lead investor in this round, um, he's got another company in his portfolio, and they're putting the records, the DMV records of various states on chain so that you can just renew your license by signing a transaction in your wallet. You don't have to go down, show your ID, do all these other things. Like you should be able to then take that and then, order cars if you have a fleet of cars. Like all these things are there. And what we need to do to bring it all back together is we need to link up these partnerships and these applications that build useful things that were invested by investors that are going for the long term value of it. And it'll seem stupid to look back and be like, oh, they were just trying to rug people for a couple $1,000,000 when we could be building trillions of dollars of value if we just got our heads out of our asses, right? It's like
Yep.
we should do that. So just to bring it back around, man. But
Yeah.
anything to add before we bounce?
No, no, I think that's a great summary and just a reminder, we are at the beginning of it. I think that's a great, kind of metaphor to say we're at that TCP/IP level, right? And talk
Yeah.
about sort of laying the network and sort of now we're getting to that next layer of what we can build on top of it. It's really exciting. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I really
It's almost
enjoyed
like you
doing
can
these.
think about it like it's a meme.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, what are you
exactly.
going to say?
No, I just say it's been really fun doing these with you. Really, really fun to be part of this. I'm looking forward to moving my next chapter as I stay involved with Metafide and also as I come back to these in the future.
Yeah, brother. We're gonna miss you. We know we're gonna get you back soon,
Yep.
and really can't thank you enough for what you've done with us, man. Like everybody's gonna miss you, bro.
It's been the most fun of my career, and it's not a goodbye. It's a see you soon.
All right, man.
All right.
Take it easy, and we'll see everybody next time.
All right.
Also,
Bye.
wait, before we go, discord.gg/5-token. Join. Go to surge.metafide.io to register for the wait list. And make sure you're on there because the early entrants are going to get rewards and some cool prizes. So make sure you're on those lists if you're in the Discord. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. See you next Tuesday. And I don't really mean it like that, but see you on Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern
Yeah,
time.
like he said.
I didn't
Bye,
mean
guys.
that. I love everybody.
All right.
All right. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
We appreciate you for listening to our space. If you want early access to rewards for our new game Surge, visit surge.metafide.io to claim your spot on the waitlist today. That's surge.metafide.io. We're excited to see you there.